DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, and we are joined by Mike Folta, the radio voice of the Utah Mammoth. Mike, where in the world are you? You still in New York, lounging about after 3 games in 5 days?
We're somewhere in Manhattan as I check out my hotel window, and thankfully not for much longer because we're about to get on a jetliner and head back to the Wasatch Front, which we've been in New York for long enough, I would say. Great city to come visit, but visit, the key word. At some point, you got to go back home. And the Mammoth picked up 2 out of 3 wins on this trip. They whomped the New York Islanders 7-2. Then they lost to New Jersey 4-1. Then last night, a thrilling overtime winner from Sean Dursey led to a 3-2 victory at Madison Square Garden. Utah won in overtime at the Garden last year. It was Clayton Keller who was the hero in that game. This year, the defenseman Sean Dursey gets the OT winner. It seems like the Utah Mammoths save a lot of dramatics for MSG and for the world's most famous arena, as they call it. But it was one heck of a game last night, and it was a big swing game for this team as well to pick up 2 points. You win 2 out of 3 on the road trip, and now it's a happy plane ride back for 7 straight home games coming up at the Delta Center.
I don't want to go nuts here, but does the phrase make or break have any application to the 7-game homestand?
I don't think you're going nuts at all. I think this is a huge stretch. And last year, the Mammoth had a similar 7-game homestand in the middle of January, basically the same exact time. Entering that 7-game homestand, Utah was 5 points out of a playoff spot, and they had a losing record on that homestand. They missed some opportunities, and they finished 6 points out of a playoff spot. And so they lost a little bit of ground, but more than that, they lost time. And when you're playing at home, the expectation is in the NHL that you're winning around 2 out of 3. That seems to be kind of the mark that most playoffs teams are able to hit. You win 2 out of 3 at home. You're around 500 on the road. That should put you in a good spot. I think the Mammoth might need to win 5 out of 7 or even better to keep pace in this really busy Western Conference. Now, you do have Logan Cooley coming back after the Olympic break in February, so that's going to be a huge boost. But I don't think you can afford to wait for Cooley to come back so that you can make your move in the standings. The Mammoth have had a really road-heavy schedule in the first half of the year. We've been saying that over and over again. We've been saying, just wait. The home games are going to come. The schedule is going to turn in Utah's favor. Well, now it is, and the other side of that is you have to make good on these home games coming up, and it starts tomorrow against the Ottawa Senators, a team that Utah has never beat, strangely enough. So a good opportunity with 7 straight games at home. Mammoth have been a pretty good home team this year, better than they were last year, and if they can maximize their opportunities on this homestand, they should be – I would think they would be above that cut line once the dust settles on these 7 home games.
Dylan Guenther with goal number 21. Is it safe to assume midway through the season, and assuming he stays healthy, this will be 4 years in the league, and his goal totals are going to grow every year? The point totals, he keeps topping it, and we're still not sure where the ceiling is for him, right?
We're not. He's on pace for 40 goals right now, and if he gets to that number, that puts him in the elite of the NHL goal scorers. And it's not just the number of goals he's scoring, it's when they're coming as well. Yeah. He's got 5 game-winning goals this year. That's up near the tops in the league. Not quite the most, but I think it's second or third right now. He's got 3 overtime winners this year. That's tied for the most in the NHL. So not only does he score a lot of goals, but he scores big goals for the Mammoth. And he's been even better. We were talking about this, DJ and PK, last week, how Guenther has been one of the guys to elevate his play in the absence of one of Utah's other young stars in Logan Cooley. And I think it's 14 games now without Cooley, and Guenther has 11 goals, I want to say. There's only a few guys that have more goals in the NHL since the start of December than Dylan Guenther, and they're names that even casual fans would recognize. Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Steven Stamkos. Those are the 3 guys, at least as of Sunday, who were the only ones to have more goals in the NHL since the start of December, more goals than Dylan Guenther. So he's in good company, and he's been turning on the Jets recently. And he's really become more than just a goal scorer, too, guys, like more than just a shooter. That's what we know him for, his shooting ability. But you look at his goals, and he's using his speed to create chances. He's being strong in front of the net and kind of out-positioning guys, out-muscling guys. And so he's developed into more than just a sniper this year. He's not just on Overwatch. He's full like Navy SEAL commando. He can do it all.
Nice. Yeah, that first goal was a classic example of being like a shot out of a cannon, boom, right on top of the net there. Last year, we talked about Durzi's absence. It seemed like we talked about it all season. And now, as we got our initial exposure to following the team on a game-by-game basis, this year we can see why, because for a defenseman, man, he's on a little bit of a run himself here in the last, 10, 12 games.
Yeah, I believe it's points in 9 of his last 10. It's a great point, PK, because he plays a bit of a high-risk, high-reward game where he's going to push the issue up the ice. And when him and Sergachev on that top pair, when they're at their best, they're really fun to watch because they can move the puck so well. They can contribute offensively, but they can also handle their own business in the defensive zone. And we heard from Durzi after the game last night in New York, and he scored the overtime winner for the Mammoth. And hearing from him after, I didn't realize this, but his grandfather had actually passed away a couple weeks ago. And he told us that he took a penalty late in that third period. He was furious, guys. Like, he could not believe it. He was maybe lucky he didn't get another penalty for the way that he was going after the officials. But he slams the penalty box door shut, and apparently, according to him, he said a little prayer, maybe talking to his grandpa, and he came out of that penalty box late in the third like a bat out of hell. I mean, I thought he was going to score right there because he comes out of the penalty box, joins the attack, and very nearly willed Utah to a lead in regulation. He had a great scoring chance late in the third, didn't score there, but he was the one to tap it in off a great play from Nick Schmaltz in overtime. So only fitting that Durzi gets that game-winning goal. He is such an emotional piece for this Utah group, and you saw a lot of emotion when he scored too. He's fun to watch, and he can do a lot for this team. And when he's going, well, I'll say this, Utah's going to need him to continue to play like this if the Mammoth are going to reach the postseason.
They traded Valimaki away for future considerations. And a year ago, as PK points out, defensemen were at a premium. It seems like now that move suggests that they not only like the guys they have, they like the depth behind them, and they probably like a couple young prospects in the AHL. Yep. So now just get him somewhere he can play, and the defenseman situation is just turned around completely in 12 months, I guess.
Yeah, totally flipped, DJ. And yeah, future consideration. It's a new guy out of Quebec, part of the French-speaking Canada. So we'll get to see him play here shortly. That's a joke for anybody wondering. Future considerations doesn't mean anything. But it's honestly the organization doing right by Juuso Valimaki as well, because this guy was in the minor leagues in Tucson, and now he gets a chance to compete for a spot in Carolina. He was making around $2 million, so that was probably a little bit expensive of a price tag to kind of get anything back. And so you clear his $2 million from the books, and you give him a chance to play, in a different spot as well, a bit of a fresh start. And yeah, he had been injured last year, and aside from that, the Mammoth have just had other guys elevate their game. And head coach Andre Tourigny mentioned this when he was asked about Olli Mata the other day here in New York, because Mata is a guy who's been out of the lineup, even though he's going to go represent Team Finland at the Olympics. Really good player, good veteran, guy who's won a couple cups. He was acquired last year to fill the holes last year that you were talking about, DJ. But now he can't find himself in the lineup because guys like Nick DeSimone have stepped up and have made it impossible to take them out of the lineup. And you're healthier on the back end than you were last year. Last year, the Mammoth at this time were still without John Marino and Sean Durzi, two huge pieces of their top two defense pairs. Well, now you have those guys in the lineup. and Nick DeSimone has fought his way into the lineup. And so there's going to be a couple guys on the outside looking in. Valimaki had been one of those, pushed down the depth chart. Oli Mata is the 7th D right now. And also Dmitry Simashev, a young rookie who we saw earlier in the year. He's down in the AHL ripening as we speak. And there's just not a spot for him up with the big club right now. It's not because he played terribly that he's in the AHL. He just needs a little more time to develop and become the star defenseman that we believe that he can be.
Well, when you said Future, I thought it was the rapper. I was thinking, sweet, man. The rapper's coming to town.
No rapper, no French-Canadian hockey player. Future considerations could be anything. It could be nothing. It could be a bottle of wine. We're talking with Larry Plow, who's in our front office. And as a front office member, he got traded one time. I believe it was from New York to St. Louis, where he got traded as a front office member as a part of like an actual deal like that involved active players. And I think he got shipped off to St. Louis as like an assistant general manager or something like that. But it was future considerations, technically part of that swap as well. And maybe a couple cases of wine too.
Or a 6 or a Coors Light. You never know.
Well, that's what we would trade you for, PK. But
I think it would just be a pint. It wouldn't be a 6-pack.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I'd go for maybe some discounted PBRs, something like that.
Mine would be near beer.
Okay.
What does it mean perception-wise for his standing in the league, in the game of hockey, to have Keller make the Olympic team?
It's huge. It's huge, especially this year with NHL players returning to the Olympics for the first time since 2014. All eyes are going to be on Milan, and I think this event has only been heightened by what we saw last year at the Four Nations, where Keller was left off that roster. I mean, the Four Nations tournament captured not just the hockey world, but the sporting world last February, and now there's so much anticipation for what we're going to see coming up in the Olympics that to be a part of Team USA is to be in the sporting spotlight, not just hockey, but the sporting spotlight coming up here in mid-February. And Keller was with Team USA at World Championships in the summer. Now, for those who don't know, World Championships, it's not really comparable to the Olympics because for some strange reason, they play the World Championships while the NHL is in the playoffs. So you're missing a lot of the best players who are playing in the NHL playoffs. So it's not really a best-on-best tournament. But nonetheless, Keller represented the Americans at that tournament and won gold for Team USA. It was the first time they had won gold at World Championships in over 90 years. And Keller was the captain of that group, played really well, and he's coming off a career year last year. But, I mean, you think of what Clayton Keller has been through this season, losing his father around Thanksgiving and now being named to the Olympic team, something that he was really mad about, something he was mad about not making the Four Nations team last year, and now he kind of flips that script this year. It's a huge deal, and it vaults him into another level of stardom within the NHL.
We could talk to you for a while longer, and I know you got like 10 more jokes that need a rim shot, but you also have to catch a bus because you said it's a great city to visit, but you don't actually live there. So we'll let you go, Mike, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. And as you know, the bus waits for no one. Radio people, especially radio people.
So you're leaving New York today? Is that it?
Yeah, we're flying out. We'll get back.
Start
to Utah
spreading the news. Folta's leaving today.
We took a big bite out of the Big Apple, fellas. We'll see you.
All right, 4 points in 3 games. Thanks, Mike. There's Mike Folta. DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, did you know I brought up Future, the rapper? Which I know you know his stuff.
Absolutely not.
Now, I called up his Wikipedia page. He's the unmarried father of 7 children by his account, each with different women, although another child's paternity has been litigated. And then you go down the next paragraph. Future is a Christian and has publicly acknowledged his faith on multiple accounts.
All right. That seems like a segment all to itself right there.
Now, you guys are the Bible scholars here. We see any
It's not ideal.
like
It's not
conflict
ideal.
here or
A little
any
bit,
dichotomy
a little
maybe?
bit. You see where possibly,
But
a thing or two.
love is love. You love who you love.
There it is. DJ and PK coming up. Austin Meek, Michigan writer for The Athletic, is here at 9 o'clock. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. We're giving those tickets away at 8:30 and 9:30. The question of the day, football fans, is coming up. Stay with us.